Good morning, friends. I hope you all are having a fantastic week, as am I. My heart really is full this morning. Having wrapped up the Thanksgiving week, I'm really filled with so much love, joy, fun, family, great food, and gratitude. It's really been a wonderful week over here, and I hope you all are experiencing the same. But if not, I trust that you will have a better week coming up, or a better day at least. And may the God of peace, tranquility, love, and prosperity visit you sometime soon, especially for folks who are having a rough time. Now, today I want to spend the next 10 minutes talking about how to achieve luxury in the village for folks who have a taste for finer things. My community is often associated with things like that, but I don't know if that is universally true. But when it comes to living in the village, not everybody is actually working on a tight budget. And so, folks who have a taste for finer things, this is your day. Now, as I do that, I'm going to ask you to join me at my cousin and her husband's home in Karungu at the shores of Lake Lolwe in southern Nyanza. And this is still all part of Western Kenya. It's probably about 2 hours away from Karating, which is where the majority of our videos are shot. We typically film in our village in Kisumu, Karating in Western Kenya. That's my village, it's my home, that's my retirement place, and we love it and we share what we do out there with folks. So, typically, for those who have not watched our videos before, we talk about all things that impact Kenyans or Africans that live in diaspora. And we focus particularly on people who are interested in coming back. And part of that process involves consultation. So, if you are interested in consulting with us, I'll post my number right on the screen. Feel free to reach out via text. WhatsApp text works all the time, regardless of where I am. We'll be happy to help where we can. So, if you're joining us for the first time, I hope you find this content worthy of your time and you will subscribe. But even if you don't, we are still grateful you are able to join us, and we hope to see you as a regular viewer. Now, your support really means a lot to us, so don't think we take that for granted. Now, as I said earlier, not everybody building in the village or returning to Africa is coming back on a budget. I know many diaspora folks who have a lot of money. And I know in the past videos, I have not focused on this group. And so today, this is what we are going to focus on. Because these people really have the privilege of working with fairly flexible budgets that can accommodate very massive dreams. Now, that does not describe me because I've always worked on tight budgets. And so this is a very foreign world to me, something that I've just been exposed to recently when I've visited a few projects here and there. So, like I said, majority of our discussions always focus on people who work on a tight budget like myself. So today we are going to focus on people with money, as Nigerians put it. So if you're one of those people, stay tuned. But if you are a Mosoloite like myself, and Mosoloite is a term that is normally used for folks who have a lot of money, mostly inside their heads. So for those who have real money out there, yes, today we are going to talk about you and some of the options that are out there, or even people who are aspiring. We're going to talk about options and things to think about in terms of what is already available in the village. So again, those keyboard warriors, please don't come after us in the comment section talking about what you would not do or what you do here and there. Now, some people have the money and they can do it. So let's just highlight a few things that I've seen in the village that are already available. So, anyhow, if you ask me what luxury looks like in the village, I'll probably give you different answers depending on the projects that I've seen out there. But I'm going to list about 7 things that I've come across in the village that exude opulence, at least in my view. And again, remember, I'm a kid that grew up in poverty in the village. And so some things may strike me as luxurious when for other people, those things are perfectly normal. So there may be that difference, and that's why I need to give you that context. But most of the luxurious homes that I've seen in the village have the following qualities. Number one, we start with the size. A lot of them are very, very huge. I've seen anywhere up to 10 bedroom homes. Some of them have about 8 plus bathrooms, multiple floors. Some of them actually have basements, and each floor has multiple rooms within it, which may include game rooms, safe rooms, where they store valuables, weapons. A few of them actually have tunnels underneath that are supposed to help with evacuation should there be some sort of emergency. Almost all of them have multiple kitchens. And then, of course, you have a lot of high-end finishes, which include exotic hardwood like teak, mahogany, rosewood, and things like that. You'll also see elements of gold leaf here and there, high-end lighting, especially very expensive chandeliers, leather everywhere, glass areas, multiple big windows, because glass is actually not cheap. If you've built out there, you know glass, especially high-end glass, is not cheap. And many of the carpets I see are sort of custom made. Again, as I said earlier, the most operators like myself who have money inside their head typically go and buy whatever carpets are out there. Many of these folks that I'm talking about often have their own carpets custom made. Then you see elements of porcelain, stoneware, quartz in there, very high-end tiles, especially the big ones. Lots of that. And then you look at the woodworks in terms of drawers, cabinetry, super, super high-end. You'll see elements of toss cushions, very large doors, especially exterior doors, massive, massive doors that open very easily. They're very heavy, but they design them in such a way that they open very easily. And then many of them have pitched roofs that are high. Now, if you've been following my channel, you already know that the cost of roof depends on many things, including the pitch. So those really high pitched roofs cost quite a bit. The flat ones are some of the most affordable roofs. So again, then you'll see extensive staff quarters, very large staff quarters, which often include people who like do grounds, cooks, people who take care of the animals, people who take care of the kids, including teachers. I didn't know that some Kenyans actually hire teachers to take care of their kids at home. This is a very foreign world to me. Of course, they do have drivers, security. Almost all of them, the ones that I've seen, have lots of exotic animals, typically birds, dogs, horses. There's actually a guy that I saw has lots of ostriches. A few of them have foreign animals. And when I say foreign, I mean animals that are not native to Africa, like capuchin monkeys. I've seen some sort of stuff that I could have never imagined possible in the village in Africa. Of course, you can expect that these folks fly on helicopters. So you'll see helipads, or at least a place where helicopters land. And that comes along with massive, massive parking bays, super high-end furniture. Almost all of them are imported. In fact, in the homes that I've been to, I don't know if I've seen any locally made furniture. If there was, I just didn't know it. But most of them import furniture. And then typically they have multiple layers of security, beginning with a very long, I don't know whether they call it driveway, but the road leading to their homes typically are super long and nothing in between, such that anybody approaching those homes can be seen probably at least a mile before they approach the homes. Almost all of them have very high walls with electric fences, CCTV cameras everywhere. Of course, they have guard dogs, alarm system, and almost all of them have very strong links to police officers around or even at the national level. So if ever something were to happen, there's always police officers available. Now, in the few homes that I've seen that are owned by people in politics, they actually have police officers stationed in those homes. And as I mentioned earlier, the roads are typically paved. And what I find really sad is that in many of these homes, the actual road leading, the main road leading to the home is paved when every other road around there is not. So these guys typically just do their own roads, yet they're the ones who drive very massive cars. I'm not necessarily judging, it's just a phenomenon that is hard for me to wrap my head around. And then, of course, very well done climate control systems, the kinds that I typically see out here in the US. So these quote unquote luxurious things that I'm talking about are not just limited to politicians' home. And if you're Kenyan, you know pretty much all of our politicians are building their wealth by looting the country dry. That's just the reality of it. We might put it in some other way, but that's just the truth of it. So there are people who have nothing to do with politics but have serious, serious money in Africa. Uh, but I would say maybe at least 40% of the ones that I've met are either politicians or are connected to what I would say taxpayer money. They do tenders and things like that. But besides that group, there's a significant group of Kenyans that I've met that really work super hard, have serious money, and can afford to do luxury in the village. So, if your heart desires some of the things I've mentioned plus more, I'm sure there's a whole lot more out there that I've not mentioned, given that I've only seen these things in people's homes. And I'm hoping maybe the next year or so, I'll be visiting for to see. So, if your heart desires some of these things, here are some of the 5 things that I hear from the luxury home owners. And number one, again, this is self-explanatory that if you're going to expect luxury, be ready with a flexible budget. Unfortunately, some of us often expect or want luxury on a budget. Those two things don't always line up very well. So luxury comes with an open budget. And then secondly, just because you are spending big money, it doesn't mean you're going to get value for your money. I've seen folks who have spent a ton of money looking for luxury, but the final product is often really, really not anything they were looking for. And part of it is lack of knowledge, not using qualified professionals, or people just cutting corners here and there. And that brings me to the next point that I've been told about, that if you really want to get proper luxury, just make sure you are using experts who have a sufficient amount of experience. And I'm not necessarily saying people who have been out in the field for decades. That may be good, but there are also some really young professionals who really know what they're doing. So you start by hiring professionals who know what they're doing. And again, obviously, that comes with a budget. So I've seen them hire consultants, I've seen them hire contractors doing different things. I've seen folks hire designers, whether you're talking about interior designers or interior deco. So they hire different professionals to handle different projects, as opposed to many of us who just take one project, assign it to a local person, and then give it to the local guy to execute it. Now, in all the cases I've seen, they don't really hire local folks to do these kinds of projects. In part because some of our local experts have minimal exposure when it comes to luxury. So in all the homes I've visited, I don't see local folks doing projects in these luxurious homes. So again, even if your budget is not flexible, you don't have to do everything luxury in your home. You can do some high end and others, maybe something in between. So what I would say that if you're interested in luxury, but your budget is not as flexible as it is for these folks, maybe what you could do is focus more on the more visible areas of the home. And I'm talking about places like the entrance, right from the gate to the front door, the front porch, things, places where are more likely to be seen by guests coming through. You're thinking about places like living rooms or kitchens, especially for folks who have open plan kitchen. We have an open plan kitchen, and ours, as soon as you walk in, it's right there in your face. And so, if you care about luxury and you don't have an extensively flexible budget, focus on the more visible areas and go high end as best as your budget can handle. And then thereafter, the other parts you can sort of play around given the flexibility within your budget. Well, I hope this was helpful for those who have a taste for finer things. But if not, let me know in the comment sections, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.